Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our annual every Sunday game of Rise of the Runelords. But the caveat is normally Rise of the Runelords was created for Pathfinder First Edition. We were playing in Pathfinder Second Edition. So if some of the things seem a little weird, if some of the rules change, that's the reason why. And Michael has a question.
Did you say annual Sunday game?
Yep, annual Sunday game.
Okay, just checking.
Yep, those I could use words. Words are meant to be used and abused, and if they don't make sense, that's not my fault.
No, it was just fine. I just thought I misheard. Carry on.
Policy.
I choose to change the language.
That's right.
Language can be changed.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, look, screw the Queen's English. This is Jared's English.
Yes.
Listen, man, she's been around way too long. That's all I'm saying. There is some necromancy going on over there.
What?
I don't think you're wrong.
Just saying.
I just, look again.
Love you, Queen Elizabeth. If you happen to be watching,
Right? Could you imagine? Queen Liz
she pops in.
Queen Liz is like, okay, now
this is
listen.
where the Queen hangs out.
That Australian bloke, he runs some D&D stuff. Shut him down. Send the guard. Fuck him.
Send the guard.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry, we're gonna
Let's
move on from. Let's move on from Queen Liz. Because I mean, some of us are still colonial. Okay, just calm down.
Off with his head. Yes. Sorry, there's a hard bounce back from arguing about Queen Elizabeth's immortality to playing Rise of the Runelords, which is what we are doing here. Look at that segue. Bam! I did it. Smooth. So we're playing Rise of the Runelords. As you can see, a few things have changed. We now have all of our little tokens down in the bottom of the screen, and that is awesome because those are done by our sponsor, Hero Forge. They sponsor us, and they're pretty awesome, and we make all of our miniatures through the use of Hero Forge. So that's pretty awesome. They've all changed, and Ari has her little miniature up, and check it out. That's the printed color miniature, which is dope. So yes, Hero Forge, go there, check it out. For all the music we have in the background, that is done by Sirenscape. So our music is pretty awesome. We had some technical issues with me this morning and a few other problems, but so if you hear the music, that's Sirenscape. We can't hear the music currently, but that's okay. We still know it's there. And of course, our virtual tabletop for our game today is Fantasy Grounds. We are currently using Fantasy Grounds Unity, which is the current supported version of Fantasy Grounds. I know there's like two floating around out there. We're using the Unity version, which allows you to play with international people, right? There was people on Apple. And Rain's antlers do look freaking amazing. Again, that's so awesome. One day, I'm just going to send Becca actual antlers for her to wear during stream.
I loved picking these out once you went in dragon mode. I was like, these are the ones I want.
Yes. But with all of that being said, those are our sponsors. So let me throw it over to our players, and we will start the morning off right. And we're going to throw it over to Becca. Becca, how are you doing this morning?
I am great. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here on a Sunday morning, and we're going to have a great time. Yes. Nothing bad can happen now that we have lost another teammate to time, and it's fine. We're not going to get sad. Okay.
Should I? Okay.
Because you're like the next one up on the list. This has become a lot shorter these days.
It's not a long list now.
Yeah. And also just Jared started with, how are you doing? So I thought you would ask me.
Oh, I'm
Jared,
sorry.
can you ask me how I'm doing this morning?
Hi, Ari, how are you doing this morning? It is a pleasure to play with you.
Thank you. And actually in France, in Paris, it's afternoon. I'll have you know. So
I apologize.
Yeah, doing great. Super excited for the game and super excited to see where we go from now. I have no idea what we're going to do. And we're all broken inside at that point. So we'll see what happens.
You gonna ask me how I'm doing, mate? Just
Hi. Thank you, Ari. And as always, I would love to know how the beautiful and majestic Michael is doing this morning. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, all right. No, I'm doing great, thank you. It is currently crouching on 10 p.m. here in good old Australia, on the west coast, which is where I am. And today I am going to be playing. I don't know why I've put on the extra Aussie accent, but I'm going to keep it. Today I'm going to be playing Malvolo and Collodi, who are, of course, an inventor human and his mechanical machination. Yeah, dude. Like, honestly, there are just so many emotions currently floating around. There's just these vibes of. I mean, I still think Malvolio hasn't quite grasped what has happened, right? Like, it happened so quick. We've lost one of our dear party members in a flash, you know, and as well as the dragon. We lost Longtooth, so he's gone as well. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm so keen to keep going with the story, find out what's happened, and try to piece the pieces back together.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough, and I guess that is the perfect time to segue into our how the audience can help the players, because we are down a few players, and the audience actually has pulled through and done amazing work to keep my players chugging along. So there are a number of ways the audience can help my players who I might have had preemptively set up the encounters for our larger group, and I might not have reset those encounters for such a small group. So they will definitely need some help with those encounters. Now, for all of these donations, and it's amazing, we appreciate your donations. For a $5 donation, you can award a hero point or a jinx point. I'm currently filled up on jinx points due to our friend Malachisis. Malachisis is pretty awesome. Thank you very much. So a hero point allows players to re-roll if they roll poorly and they want to just, you know, not do so terrible. For $10, you could grant a sin boon. These are awesome. I actually have a sin boon floating around underneath me, and we get to create like a magical effect. It's a very storytelling. You could just kind of like have a conversation and we figure it out. So that's what really a sin boon is. Usually it's based on one of the 7 deadly sins. So greed, gluttony, lust, one of those awesome sins. For $20, you could grant a natural 20, and I believe Rain and Scarlet both have natural 20s floating around. So instead of rolling, they just say, I'm using my gold coin, and boom, nat 20. And the $50 donation, which is a huge donation, very much appreciate it. If you happen to donate that much, we love you. That is, we get to create a magical item drop, or a ally comes and helps the group. We had some really dope allies pop in to help the group, and that was very appreciative. Once we reach a full, you see underneath our characters, we have like a really dope bar. That little bar, if it fills, we have a boss encounter. So it could be anything from combat to trying to figure out how to stop a dragon from eating Collodi to just a lot of role play. So it could be anything. So yes, thank you very much for all the donations. We love you and appreciate you for doing that. But why don't I get into a quick detail of what we're kind of dealing with, where we are, what's happening. Oh man, a lot has happened, players and viewers. We've had so many things change. Our players had defended Sandpoint, right? Pretty simple. They rescued a very young red dragon called Longtooth. Longtooth had bonded to Rain because they rescued a very young red dragon called Longtooth. Longtooth had bonded to. I wonder if this is going to work. Oh, it did. We fixed it. So sorry about that. That was me talking from the past into the future. So Longtooth bonded with Rain. Yeah, it was timey-wimey stuff happened this whole campaign, so it's perfectly normal.
Yes.
Longtooth bonded with Rain, and Cecilia actually freed herself from captures of giants. As Cecilia made her way back, she noticed that she kept jumping through space and time. having like jumped through space and time, she finally made it to the group. The group was like, dope, we're all back together. They found a stone giant trapped in one of Marvolo's pits, and the stone giant was like, yeah, Makmurian is basically launching an assault on Sandpoint. You guys have to go to the hidden and most desolate of locations, known as the sorry, let me see if I could throw this map up to Michael so he could see everything. The Black Towers, which is a common name in fantasy games. You always have to deal with something called like the Vile Towers or something like that. They had to travel up the steps, and that's the Stovall Stairs. They're like these massive stairway into this hidden location by the stone giants. So they found out where they were going. They had a whole flying on the back of a dragon and heading to the steps. As they got halfway there, the dragon basically was like, listen, I'm really hungry, and there's a lot of you guys flying on the back of me. So can I eat? And Rain was like, sure, what do you eat? And the dragon was like, cows, not a problem. So, and Rain was like, sure, just, don't be mean to the cows if you're going to eat a cow. And Dragon was like, sure, not a problem. I could not be mean to the cows if I'm going to eat a cow. Dragon flies off. And on Scarlet's watch, Scarlet hears a lot of screaming and anger and draconic roaring. They all rush over to a location. As they rush over to this location, they see a stone giant is trying to dig up what looks like a black monolith, like kind of like a stone pillar. And Longtooth attacked a Catoblepus. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but basically it looked like it was a large cow that irradiated a terrible smell and could just spew out poison breath. So they're in combat. Cecilia runs over to the stone giant, feeling connected to that pillar, and time jumps actually into the past. And into the past, right before Longtooth attacks the Catoblepus, she says stop. Longtooth blows fire. The Catoblepus blows its toxic breath, causes a massive explosion, hurting Longtooth in the process. Cecilia grabs Longtooth. Now it's in the past. That's when past Rain, Marvolo, and Scarlet shows up. It's a lot of timey-wimey stuff. Keep up. I'm almost there. And basically at that point, Cecilia figures out that the monolith kind of connected was like a connection. She touches it, travels into the past. Time stops. The stone giant disappears. The Catoblepus disappears, and Longtooth and Cecilia disappear. Scarlet, Marvolo, and Rain walk over to now the black monolith, and they see written on it is basically Cecilia explaining that she traveled into the past and she will continue to try to help the group as far as she can. And where we last left off was Scarlet finding a box, and inside it was from Longtooth to Scarlet, and it basically was a bunch of his little baby red dragon scale saying this was for her dress that she kept asking about making. So that's the anarchy that was last week's encounter. Half of that was done because of the donations in the boss battle, but the other half was done to my madness. So hopefully that all makes sense to everyone out there. If it doesn't, I apologize. But we're going to jump right into this. So the party picks up literally at that end. Scarlet, you open the box and it says this is for Scarlet, from Longtooth. And it's a bunch of little red dragon scales for your vest, if you wanted to make a vest.
Scarlett is going to say, I don't think I would ever say this in my lifetime, but right now I do not care about those scales, like at all.
As you are kind of standing around, trying to figure out what is going on, Marvolo, you kind of like are looking over. I'm assuming you'd be looking over the pillar.
Malvolo. So what became of the giant?
All of these creatures that were there because of the time displacement, the giant became a giant diamond. It aged up to the point where its stone body just became like diamond, and the Caliblepus became basically fossilized. You guys were all saved.
I hardly able to believe what he has just witnessed. Malvola moves over and immediately starts pouring through the notes, the last words Cecilia made to them. This is her handwriting. But the stone is so old. This doesn't make any sense. She was here and then she wasn't? And then this creature and the giant. Maybe this is an illusion. Maybe. Rain, can you dispel the magic in the area?
What? No. And you can see Rain kind of sitting on the ground, just a bit in awe in those moments. What? You can't undo something like this. It's not like I could have any say in this. It's not like I had any say of us even being here, much less when we're leaving. Why do you think I would have anything over this? Why do you think I would be able to just cast a simple spell like Dispel and hope that, she'd be able to appear?
But she can't be gone. She just can't. It's just... How? I gave everything. I thought that if we did what we were supposed to, I thought that if we did what we were meant to, that this would all be over. But what happened here? We didn't do anything. She was just gone? Is this what's going to happen to all of us? Are we just simply going to expire? I've been here the longest.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry.
She's not gone, and it's not gonna happen to us. She's not gone. It's not possible. Cecilia's not gone. And we thought she was, and she was just. We found her in a pit like a few moments later. I'm sure she's gonna appear somewhere on our path, and everything will be all right.
Sure. We can
Right?
say that, I guess. Yeah, sure. Except
We have no
probably
clue
not.
what happened.
Look, she's not here anymore. Whatever the magic was that clearly brought us here, it's taken her. You don't have any say in any of this.
What should we do now?
At this point, Kalodi, who has been, again, kind of very static and very still, suddenly, almost like a breath of life sort of enters him as his body's regained those little mannerisms. He says, "Okay, listen up. Yeah, okay, Cecilia's gone for now. And maybe Scarlet's right. Maybe this is just a small kink in the road. Just because she's gone right now, don't mean that she can't be teleported back here in the future, right? Just means that at this particular moment, she ain't here. And sitting here, worrying about what's going to happen to you, what's going to happen to me, that's, a problem for the future. Right now, we got people that rely on us, okay?"
And what do you suggest that we do?
Okay. Kalodi looks around. He says, "The river, this water, right? Look, people, in these days, like with Sandpoint, they build villages and towns on the river, right? I say we stick by the river, we find our way to the nearest town, and bim bam boom, we get a carriage, we get a wagon, we get something, and we keep after these giants, okay?" Whether we go to the future, whether we go to the past, at the very least, we can tell someone that these townspeople need help.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. If that's what you think is best, but I don't think it even matters anymore.
Malvolo sort of sighs and says, I'm inclined to agree with Rain. I think I thought there was a purpose. I thought that if we did the right thing, if we fulfilled some sort of grandiose task, we would, I don't know, be afforded some measure of reward for what we were doing, or maybe some measure of peace, but I don't know. Look, Cecilia wrote her last words on a piece of relic left over from an empire that was destroyed. Was she even there? Was she there when the skies went dark? What did she go through? Will we do the same? Just... Malvolo takes off his mask very slowly. And as he does, he, a few tears sort of just seem to gush out from his eyes. Just kneels by the large monolith.
Don't do that. And Rain will get up and approach him. You can't put yourself through that. Don't think about that.
I'm gonna put the box down and join them and take Rain's hand. Ask Malvolo if I can take his. Malvolo, do you mind?
Malvolo will reach kind of over his shoulder and behind and take Scarlet's hand.
And I'm gonna do like the smallest little massage to your palms.
We're getting overworked over nothing. It's not like we can do anything.
Yeah, and Maureen needs suffering twice, so...
You're right.
Fine.
But you're also wrong. Kalodi is right. There is still something we can do. Sure, maybe what we do doesn't matter here. When all that means is that what we do is our choice. And Malvolo is going to actually leave his mask by the pillar.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and I'm going to choose to move forward. Will you still come with me? I know it's not quite the same. No grand purpose, no glorious promise of something at the end of this.
It's not like we knew what that end was anyway.
Yeah. Malvolo, you're gonna leave your mask here? For real?
Malvolo looks at the mask and says, yeah, I think I am done hiding. I think it's time for me to face what is to come. And Cecilia, she taught me to take pride in who I am.
Scarlet is gonna grab the box and go open it and go through the scales.
Mm-hmm.
and then grab a bunch and just let them flow in the wind.
Okay.
And just empty the box, and there is no more skulls.
Okay.
I guess we're starting fresh, aren't we?
I guess so. Claudie's right. We should get to the nearest city and take bath and start over. And also, we need to make it so that Cecilia's disappearance was not for nothing. So I have made the decision that I would change for the better, thanks to Cecilia. So I will not be the same Scarlet anymore. I'm just warning you.
And just like that. Well, the two of you are inspirational, I suppose. I don't think I'm... Well, I'll help in what way I can. But I really don't know what we're doing.
That makes two of us.
Let's just do it one step at a time. Let's just put a foot in front of the other and improvise, you know?
Right. Right. One step. Each time.
Yeah.
Rain,
Maybe if we move fast enough, we won't lose another one.
Oh, fuck.
Rain, can you give me a survival check?
Mm-hmm.
And as Rain kind of like tries to figure out her location and trying to, orientate yourself. Marvolo, I think this might be a quick, good time to explain to. I know Rain and Scarlet have seen your face before, very quickly. So maybe now is a good time to kind of tell everyone again, just as a refresher, what does Marvolo look like underneath the mask?
Yeah, so underneath the mask, what you see is an olive-skinned human. He has a small kind of beard, like kind of like a very like 5 o'clock shadow stubble. He does every morning, but grows in quite quickly. He has several small, very, very tiny micro cuts in his beard, making it look a little bit uneven. And his hair is quite slick and black. It's wavy, and he kind of gives him a very Middle Eastern type of look. He has hazelnut eyes with a small swirl of copper in it, and has quite charming features, but at the same time a little like kind of slovenly, I guess. Like, he's definitely the kind of person who sort of looks always like he's just woken up from a nap.
I get that. Super handsome, by the way. That's like the eyes got me. I was like, yeah, I get down with that. So as the parties tries to orientate themselves, Rain, you kind of take that position of authority and kind of like figuring out which way you need to head off. You look around and you're actually able to see some tracks in the ground, and it will lead you to, if you follow them, it can definitely lead you to probably a walking path or some kind of like hunter's path. Like they've used this as if they hunted in the area, this would be like the path that they would follow back into town, if there is a town nearby.
Okay. All right. Let's gather ourselves and we can go this way. Maybe we'll have some sort of heading once we, I don't know, find people if they're there.
Following the path set forward by Rain, the party walks. I wish I could say it was raining and it was cloudy to match the mood, but that's never really the case, as it is a very nice day. Actually, one of the nicer days you've been dealing with. So it just juxtapose how terrible the situation you're coming from. Following along this path for a few hours, you actually start to hear talking and laughter, and it breaks the silence, and a lot of boisterous voices. And coming out into a more cleared area, you now follow that walking path and you see a large road, like a main road. Following up onto that main road, you're kind of on the hill, and you look up and you can actually start to see the peaks of houses, smoke coming out from behind over some trees. And in the back, and this is the weird part, there is a very large, it looks like a Byzantine top of a church. And if you don't know what that is, that's a Byzantine is kind of like an architectural structure. You've probably seen it in like churches from Eastern Europe. So they have like what looks like an onion, right? It has that like onion shape dome at the top. And so that's what you see kind of over in the horizon. As you get closer, and now the voices start to come in clearer, you see a group of what looks like young people, all different races, maybe an elf or two thrown in there, human, definitely halfling. And they seem to be walking along the road, and they are well dressed. Actually, they are in robes, and they don't seem they're kids. Maybe your best guess is they're like children. They don't really notice the party, and they're just walking along the road heading back to the town.
Well, I guess it looks like this place has been perhaps unaffected so far.
We follow them. Yeah.
We can go
Should
in.
we- Okay.
Maybe we should let them know at least. Maybe they've seen or heard something, or I don't know, anything. That could give us a better heading, and maybe we can work from that. Sure.
Okay. Who volunteers to talk to small children? Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm
not
great with kids.
Really?
Yeah, forget about it.
Okay, maybe we should do that together. I not wanting to leave Kalodi. not knowing how well he'd censor like some of the violence we've seen. I don't know. Rain will accompany Kalodi.
All right, listen, kid. You think your mom and dad had it bad? Okay, I got a story for you.
Let me tell you the horrors.
Rain will crouch down in front of the little kids. Hello, I'm Rain. This is my friend Kalodi.
Hey there.
As you kind of walk up, you notice that all the young children seem to be wearing multicolored robes. And you, Marvolo, you would know they like they're in their teenage years. They're probably like 15, 16 years old, so little teeny boppers. All of them are kind of like laughing and talking to each other. And Rain, you kind of come up and you're like, "Hi, my name is Rain. This is Kalodi." And the kids are like, "Whoa!" Like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Hey, so, I the oldest young male kind of steps forward and is just like, hi, how can we help you?
Right. Yes. Thank you. So my friends and I are passing through and we're looking for your town and we're kind of curious if you've noticed anything strange as of late.
Looking for oh, the town. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's right. It's just right down this road. You can't miss it. Strange? No, not really. Um,
No
a
loud
few of the
sounds, maybe migration of birds or
uh, and now all the kids are kind of like chattering to each other, and they kind of like one of the younger kids kind of steps forward and says, "Well, um, I you could probably go ask at the school. They kind of keep track of all that stuff.
the school. Okay. So the school will document everything?
Yeah, they're pretty good at that." And the older kid's like, "Oh yeah, you could probably go speak to the principal."
Sure. Sure.
They are young children, so they have
That's who
they're
the
not
leader for
giving.
them.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, you should go see the principal. That's um. So the older kid's like, yeah, you should probably definitely go speak to the principal. They could direct you if you're looking to figure out what's going on. Um,
Okay.
do you want to come? Do you want to follow us? We were actually heading back there.
Sure. Yes. Yes. I'm assuming that's where like the big dome building is and everything.
Oh yeah, the academy. Yeah. That's actually the very top is where the principal is.
That's the school?
Yeah, the Twilight Academy. Not even making this up.
The Twilight Academy.
Not making this up.
That is a rather prestigious academy that you attend.
Oh, you've heard of it. And like all the kids are now super excited. They're like, yeah. Oh yeah, they say like, oh yeah, because we're small local kids, and we don't go to the schools in Magnamar, but the academy is great. Like it's one of the best founding magical schools out here. I think it's better than the one over in Magnamar, personally.
This is one of a magic school that you've got out here.
Yeah. We are actually well known for our divination magic.
You all study divination magic out here? Since I guess, well, I won't ask you questions about founding and whatnot. I think that might actually be rather helpful for us. Maybe this is where we're supposed to be. And she'll turn around and gesture to the others, saying, okay. Can you imagine? These children are studying divination magic.
A few of the kids. So Marvolo and Scarlet, can you give me perception checks? So like as you walk closer, obviously Rain's like having the conversation with the kids, and the kids have like all kind of circled around Rain. So you have a better chance of noticing a little bit more than like what Rain is seeing.
Okay. I
Wait.
I feel like Ari definitely clicked the wrong button. She was like, yeah, this one looks right.
25.
All right, 30. All right, cool.
34.
So Rain, you're talking to these kids, right? All of these little teeny boppers. Think like I kind of want to put them like a lot of them have like in my head they look like the kids from Grease, the movie Grease. They're just a bunch of like little kids with like silly hairdos. Yeah. And they all are wearing long like robes, like wizard robes, right? Like if you were the most generic Harry Potter-esque like robes, you would think. So Marvolo and Scarlet, as you approach Marvolo, you notice that the kids all kind of have book bags that they're carrying, or like sacks of all different books. You notice that they are all wearing. Your assumption would be their robes kind of differentiate them by the school of magic that they're learning. So there's different colors based on the magic. Marvolo, Scarlet, you come in with your eagle eyes, now more focused than you were just a few weeks ago when you first joined the group. You notice that a few of the kids in light blue robes are carrying what look like playing cards. It's super weird, but they have like their backpack and on their, like, I guess, belt, right? Or on their robes, it looks like a pack of playing cards.
Okay, I'm just gonna reach for it and try to grab it.
All right, make a sleight of hand check. Oh, wait, sorry. I apologize. Are you just like, this is mine, or are you gonna like secretly try to be like, this is mine?
Oh no, I just want to grab it and say, what's this? The fuck is this?
Like you just roll up, you're like, yo, what is this? I bet. So you don't even have to roll anything. You just kind of walk up and you like grab this young kid by the waist and like the hip, and you just like pull, like you yank, and you're like, what is this, right? Like, so you look at, you're like, what? You like packing the piece or something? Like, what's going on? And the kid's like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, kid's like, oh, look, and now like the older kid looks at you, Rain, is like, what is going on? Like now fear kind of crosses their face as like they're trying to figure out, like, are they being mugged?
No, it's fine. It's not, Scarlet. We ask before we take from children.
Okay, can I take this from you?
So the young kid is like, sure.
Okay, now what is this? I'm intrigued.
So taking the cards, they are like cards, playing cards, and kind of flipping through them. They all have different faces on them. Not so much they to like the untrained eye, they would just look like a lot of playing cards with like Jack, Queen, King, stuff like that. Looking at these, they all do radiate a little bit of magic. The cards themselves radiate a little bit of magic. And the younger kid that you took the cards off of is like, oh, those are my Harrower cards. I'm sorry.
Your what?
Harrowing cards. Have you ever heard of this?
No. Have you guys?
I can't say I'm familiar with that.
Oh,
I was gonna say, has Malvolo?
Possibly. Actually,
Society?
Marvolo probably would have, because he studies so much. Like his character is like in the library. Harrowing came about later in the history of this time. So this is like the general like school book conversation. Harrowing cards are used to help focus magic users who use divine magic. It focuses their ability. It's kind of like tarot cards in our universe.
Okay.
Malvolo will briefly explain it. I presume I know that they're tied directly to the Varisians.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would know the location of it.
Yeah. So we're in the region known as Varisia, and the native Varisians are people who travel around in caravans and worship the god of travel and the like. And they use things like the stars and portents in order to guide where they travel and they wander. And a deck of cards that they use is called the Harrow deck. There's a story apparently involved with the cards and their arrangement, but every single card predicts a particular type of future: good fortune, bad fortune, or otherwise.
Could we ask them if to check if Cecilia's okay?
If you would like. So are you could ask the kids, like you could be like, oh, do you know how to use these?
Yeah.
So
for example, if you need like stuff from her, I'm gonna like grab a cat hair that's on my clothes. Here, if you need some DNA.
So the kid kind of taken aback. She's like, "Oh, whoa, I," and she's like, "Do you want me to do a reading for you?"
Yeah.
She's like, and the kids are all kind of like, "What?" And this young female, is like, "Oh, I've never actually had a chance to. I would love to," and she's like, here, and then she kind of like starts to clear off an area on the road. She goes into her sack. She takes out like a mat and a number of different tools to perform the thing, and the kids kind of all like wander nearby, and they've all gotten quiet, and they're kind of looking, and the older kids kind of like leaning next to Rain, and it's like, okay, so this is why we go to the academy. We learn magic, and this is kind of what the academy is known for.
Oh, for learning your magic?
Mm-hmm. To focus it. So and then he leans forward and he says, well, she's a novice, but I think she could do it. And the young girl kind of like gives him a quick like dirty look of like, not a novice. And she kind of looks and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, we should sit, and then she kind of makes Scarlet sit down in front of her.
Well, everyone sit down. Come on, just go along with this at least. So Rain will encourage everyone in the group to sit down.
Scarlet is she doesn't want to sit down on the ground because it's gross. But she decided she was going to be a new Scarlet. So not be a superficial or a maniac. So she's going to, sure. And sit down very reluctantly. It's better be worth it.
Malvolo does the same, but puts down a cushion that he's been carrying.
He just carries around a butt cushion.
Yeah, I don't put. I not since level 1. I have never placed my buttock on any seat without it.
And so Scarlet is gonna throw a jealous glance at the pillow.
So the young wizard, she reaches out her hand to like gently shake your hand, and she says, Mirabeth, my name is Mirabeth. And your name? She's looking at Scarlet and Rain. You guys are like kind of like right in front of her.
Oh, Scarlet.
I'm Rain. Yes.
Rain?
Yeah.
And Scarlet. Okay. Okay, give me a moment. And then she closes her eyes and she starts to invoke different magical words, kind of calling on the spirits all around her to come and talk through the cards. And in a few moments she opens her eyes and she looks right at you, Rain and Scarlet. She says, okay, ask your question to the cards.
Rain, should we ask, is Cecilia okay?
Yes. Yeah, let's start with that one.
Okay, is Cecilia okay?
As you ask that, she kind of like says it out loud. She's like, spirits, if you are here, is Cecilia okay? And she looks at the group and she's like, Cecilia's your friend, right? Like she
yes,
it's a person, right? It's a person.
Yes.
Okay.
She's a
cat hair.
Okay. So she starts to shuffle the cards, and it's a very strange way she does this. She kind of like spreads the cards out on the mat, and then she gestures for Rain to pull a card.
Okay. And Rain will grab the top one.
So pulling a card It is the tyrant, and it's a picture of this like very tyrannical image. And she says, "Oh, interesting." She takes the card from you and she puts it down, and then she gestures for you, Scarlet, to pull a card.
Oh, Scarlett is very relieved because she was upset that she didn't get to pull the card. Okay, she pulled it.
She takes it and we have the cards. Interesting.
Oh, so cool.
Do not underestimate my power.
It's the cricket card. So on the card it's called the cricket. It's pretty interesting. It looks like a giant I guess the image is it kind of looks like Jiminy Cricket from your, it's like in the top hat. It's silly looking. And she takes it, she goes, okay, and then she says the last, and she gestures to Marvolo.
Malvolo will take a breath and will take a card.
And this one is the image of the crow or crows. It's a murder of crows. And she says, this is very strange. So if you would allow me, I'm still very new to this, but so the tyrant, it represents a ruler who has harmed those they have ruled. So it's like someone in control, or was a ruler, which is very strange. The cricket, it represents a quick travel, like traveling and passing, and but like a positive reward at the end. And the crows represent a loss. Did you lose something? Is she lost?
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
They don't know that. Yeah, we did lose someone.
Well, it looks like the lost person is safe, with the cricket, meaning it's like it's a positive travel. Did they but the tyrant represents someone in control. Was she connected with some kind of like authority figure?
I mean, not one that we know really very well.
Mm.
Can you reveal that part of information for us? Can the cards tell us that?
Sure. So why don't you ask your question to the cards?
I guess who took her away?
So she gestures to you, Rain, to pull the first card.
She'll take that.
Pulling out the card, it's a lantern, but it looks like an evil lantern. It's like, rah. And she says, "Oh, this is the demon's lantern." And then she gestures to Scarlet.
Go ahead, take a card.
We know she's safe for now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I take it.
So you take the card, and it's a desert. It's an actual desert picture.
Okay.
And then last, she gestures to Marvolo.
Malvolio will reach and he will take a card from the middle of the deck.
There you go. And excuse me. It's the theater. So it's an actual, like, it looks like a theater card. Like on it, it looks like a theater. She goes, "Oh, this is very strange. Where if I'm reading this right, so the lantern represents a impossible situation of like traps and danger. The desert represents an environment too difficult for anyone to survive without help, but there is a chance of salvation. And the theater, it represents a prophecy, but a true prophecy where they're acting on the will of the gods.
Will of the. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So it looks like they're traveling in a dangerous area, but they are on a path set forth by the gods.
Can I ask another question?
She's like, sure.
Are we on a path set by the gods?
So she says, okay. She takes up the cards and then she shuffles them and then she lays them out again and then she gestures to Scarlet to take a card.
Before they do, Malvolio is going to reach over and put his hands on the top of the cards. He says, Are you sure? Are you sure that this is a question you want an answer for?
Well, at least then we'll have a purpose. Then we'll know that we're not just, I don't know, then we'll know somebody's at least toying with us, that we're not just wondering or hoping, or maybe no one's backing our corner and we're just making problems for ourselves. Something to grasp onto would be really helpful right now. Or at least someone to blame.
I agree. I second that.
Malvolio will take that card that he's put his hand on, feeling a kind of a pull or a call to it.
Pulling the card and flipping it over, it's an image of a forge. She just kind of looks at the card with like a strange face. She goes, okay. And then she gestures to Scarlet.
I'll take one too.
Pulling this next card, it's an image of the forge. And the girl's like, huh? And then she looks over at the older kid that you were talking to, Rain, and she kind of makes a face, and the kid's like now all the kids kind of step back away from the circle and away from the group, and is just like, what? Like, this is strange.
No. What's going on? What are there supposed to be two of the same card?
No. And then she kind of, now the young girl is like, no, it could be a mistake. And then she opens up, she kind of like takes the deck and then like, does the thing where you like lay them flat and then flips them over and they all become the forge. Each card is actual, like the forge card. And she goes, I have no idea what this means. The card in itself represents strength through diversity or strength from many sources united against trial. Are you on trial?
It feels like it.
Are we?
this is wrong. And like the kids kind of start to like get up, and now like a few of the kids are like just muttering like, no, this is wrong. Like there's something wrong. And they're all panicking. Like now you could start to see them, like the panic start to set in that like,
Okay. No. It's all right. Let's just it's a trick. Kalodi likes to do this from time to time. We have a hard time switching the cards back. He does that. Kalodi, why did you do that? She kind of winks at him.
Yeah, no, yeah, you want, and for my next trick, watch as I make acorns appear. And he sort of like twists his ear and then acorns come out of his mouth.
Hilo freaks out that you've released his horde of acorns.
yeah. Like Twilo starts to like jump onto the floor. And it's like picking up the acorns. It's like, and it's like
just
grumpy.
trying to toss them back into Kalodi.
Yeah, and all the kids like start to like laugh, and you could see that like at first they don't want to believe what's happening, and they but now that like Kalodi's kind of like joking around and Twilo's like adding to it, the kids are like laughing, and the older kids are like, oh yeah, we've seen tricks like this before. And you could see like they're trying to like convince themselves like this isn't weird. Like these new strangers we just met aren't weird. So we're gonna not be weird. And the kids are like, yeah, no, yeah. And the young girl's like, she's panicking. Like you could see the color just drained out of her face. And she's like, and she looks at you, Scarlet, and she's just like, can I have my deck back? Meaning like, give her like, can he get my deck back from? Can I get it back from him?
I get the deck and just go kind of like this, like
Yeah. So she takes it and you kind of like and then she's like she's like, oh,
but don't you take it?
She's like trying to reach. You keep pulling away, and then she kind of looks at you. She's like, please.
I give her once and for all.
She takes the deck and then she kind of like shuffles through it. And she looks and she kind of seems like eased at this point that the cards have all changed back, seemingly like Kalodi has changed them back, or you guys fixed the trick. And she kind of puts them away shakily, and she kind of like rolls her mat up, and she's like, guys, I think we should get back to town. Like I think we're gonna be late for class and such. So we're gonna go. And she kind of like starts to move away from the group, like eyeballing everyone, and starts to head. And the older kids who are like cheering Kalodi and Twilo on kind of look back at you and it's like, well, you can follow us. We're gonna head to town if you want.
Sure. Yeah.
So the kids kind of take off at a brisk pace, keeping themselves spreading some distance between you guys and them. But it's a fast walk. I feel like Twilo and Kalodi are just arguing about how many acorns they're allowed to have in their head.
Kalodi is
capacity.
Yeah, look, Kalodi's definitely apologizing and promising all the acorns, none of which he can deliver, but promising them.
Well, as long as he's
just got like the little angry cloud above his head, like shaking his fist, throwing little pebbles now because he's run out of acorns at Kalodi.
Ow.
You actually make your way. It's fairly quickly to the town. As you get there, there are two large gates that are wide open, clearly used for like safety purposes, but there's a lot of vines growing along the archway, which was, you would assume they probably haven't been closed in years at this point. Kind of getting there are a few guards posted, but they're just letting people go into the town. No one seems to be aggressively stopping you from getting in here. It's actually similarly sized to Sandpoint, so it's a large town. There's a lot of people moving to and fro. You notice that the school is kind of towards the back, and it's a large school. It's very has those giant cathedral peaks with those large onion spires, and there are people going to and fro. Most of them seem to either be in robes or like not, or the caveat is either they're in robes, like they're studying at the school, or they seem to be like mill workers. Like a lot of them are like dirty. Some of them are covered in dust. Some of them are carrying like logs.
Well, it seems like we found the right place then. Kids, where is your principal?
At the school.
Right.
You could follow us. We're going, and they're like walking aggressive, like they're trying to like lose you at this point. Like you're the adults who are like reigning. Yeah, you're like, they're like, yeah, it's this way, and they're pointing at the school, like they're like, it's that way. We're going there. You could come with us. So you kind of like follow the kids, and the kids are like now walking in like a hurried fashion, trying to get rid of like the weird people following them. The kids make it to the school, and it's a very large campus, right? Like the school itself is very large.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way in through the first set of gates, and you kind of follow it up, and it's right outside of like the main staircase that go up to the large school building. There is a giant stone plaque, and it says Twilight Academy established in 4629 AR. Just so that was a few years ago. The best.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like some while in the past compared to what the time period you are now. And the kids kind of like go off onto the campus and like scatter, like they're kind of like leaving you now on campus, and you're on campus. Just you see students study, like moving around on the campus grounds, and it's kind of like a college. It's a college, more or less.
Wow, this is actually really impressive that they've built this out here. I don't think I've seen anything like this. Honestly, like, this is massive. It's quite an institution that they've got going on, and of all places.
Yeah, honestly, it kind of takes me back home. Many of the places around my my kingdom were very similar to this. Places of learning, places of great wisdom to be shared.
You went to school in a place like this?
Well, I mean, there were some subtle differences. People were usually attending classes remotely. We were not the get up early at the crack of dawn sort.
Oh, well, what did you study?
I studied theater.
What?
I woodworking and carpentry and
You
things
did? You were a
manly with
theater
hands.
kid?
And just
What did you perform? Did you do any of what are the performances, the school plays?
in a manner of speaking, you can see at this point there's this blush that kind of goes over his face, and almost immediately there's this like kind of quasi recognition as you realize that this entire time Malvolo has been walking around with a puppet that is very convincingly performing 24/7. And every single thing he had learnt as a theater nerd.
So did you do any known plays or any known role?
Well, I was usually working on sets and things. I was crippled with some rather intense stage fright. But I did make the backdrop for My Country 'Tis of Queen. It was a ballad. I made the
Honestly-
thunderbolts and lightning. It was very, very frightening.
That sounds very impressive. You should. I don't think I've seen you volunteer over at the theater back at Sandpoint. Have you helped them out with any of their props or sets or anything?
Well, on occasion, yes. If Nexon came and asked, I would occasionally build things here and there. And, well, obviously, Kalodi was a suitable... yeah, they just dressed me up, okay? You could say it, okay? I was a cross-dressing thing that you kept giving to people. It was not nice, but I will admit that, my God, like, the breathing room in dresses is amazing. And I look fabulous.
Right?
I'm sure that was very helpful for Nexon. Yes.
Marvel, am I dreaming or are you blushing right now?
You watch as Malvolo looks as he's realized again that he doesn't wear his mask, and now people can read his emotions, which are... He is not accustomed to being subtle with them at all. He says, "Look, it wasn't the most successful career that I had pursued, but I always said my father and my family wanted me to get into wood carving. They were trap makers. My father was a trap maker. My grandparents, and I wanted to make people happy, not dead."
I like that. I like that. You found something that really brings you to life. That's good. Maybe you can do that again sometime when this is all over and whatnot, and we're back in Sandpoint or something.
As the party is talking, and finding out Marvolo was a theater kid, there is a small tug on Scarlet's pant leg, and then you hear a
Okay, I turn around.
Turning around, you see a halfling standing there in very regal looking robes and kind of with a very dour, sour face, looking at you, and he says, "My mistress would like you to follow me, please."
I'm sorry, what? Who are you?
Who am I? I'm here to get you. The principal of the school would like to speak to you three. Please follow me.
Oh, are we in trouble?
Can my friends come too?
Yes, I would like all of you to follow me, please. She is a very busy woman, and I would appreciate it if you would just follow and stop asking questions.
Sure. No. We don't mean to cause any harm. We will happily go. Right, everyone?
Well, I mean, when has it ever been a bad idea to go to the principal's office? Sure, why not?
Yes.
Following this well-dressed halfling takes you into one of the larger doors. Passing through the doors, he comes to a wall, a solid stone wall, makes a few arcane gestures, and the wall kind of peels away, and you see stairs begin to form. You start to follow him up the stairwell. You get to a top landing, and he says, "Please step on the platform."
Sure. It's not gonna bite us, right?
No, it shall not bite you.
Sure.
Well, time waits for no one. Malvolo and Kalodi will step onto the platform, and I'll actually reach out to help Scarlet on. And then reach out to help Rain.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that made Scarlet feel a little bit less special.
Oh,
Wow.
rough. Stepping up onto the platform, he steps up and he taps his heel 6 times and then makes another set of arcane gestures, and the platform like zooms up. It's very fast. It's going up in this like stone cylinder. As it goes, you're kind of passing by windows and you get that effect of like light just flickering through this store, like elevator shaft for the most part. It comes to the very top and it has this hard stop that everyone kind of like gets lifted off their feet slightly. Even the halfling's robes kind of go up and then fall back down to the ground. And he walks to a set of beautifully carved doors. As you get to these doors, he knocks 3 times and a female voice says, "Enter." He opens the doors and he says, "Madam, your guests are here." And he bows very lowly.
Oh, were you expecting us?
As you kind of walk in, the room is heavy with perfume. And behind this, you walk in and your foot, every step clicks on beautiful marble floors. The floors have a wonderful design pattern, floral pattern, kind of carved into them. And as you walk, you do notice that the floral pattern itself seems to be alive and moving, shaping and shifting on the ground. You look up and there's a number of different mosaics portraying different times throughout history. So you have the death of Aradin, the human god. You have kind of the fall of the empire, the Thessalonian Empire, this giant meteor, all different historical depictions. And in the center of this room is a very large table. And sitting behind the table is a very young looking elvish woman. And she is smoking, I forget the name, but it's like one of those long, it was from like the 1920s, those long pipes. And then at the end would have the cigarette. And she is just sitting there puffing away on this. As you enter, the halfling bows out and the doors shut behind the group and candles flicker on all around this large circular room.
Rain will bow low.
I will grab Rain's arm and lift her as much as I can, which would go like this.
Good luck.
Don't bow. We're the guests. She should bow for us.
Oh, clearly this is someone of very important stature. Hello. And Rain will try to curtsy again.
You wanted to see me? You know that your employee was very rude to us.
Yes, Frederick is a bit stuffy. I apologize for all the pomp and circumstance. I am Principal Merfin. I have been here for the last 500 years, watching over the Twilight Academy. It is a pleasure to meet all of you. Interesting. I thought there would be one more.
Wait, why would you think that?
Oh, well, this is going to sound very strange, but a long time ago, there was a bit of a prophecy, and well, it's better to just show it to you. She stands up and she says, "Please follow me." And she starts to walk, and she's in high heels, and they click on the stone floor. And again, the floor, as she walks, it changes to all different beautiful, intricate floral patterns on the ground. And she walks to a wall. and the wall is covered by this large tapestry. And she says, well, here. And she pulls a rope and the tapestry falls. And there before you is a mosaic. It's beautiful. It's huge. It takes up this massive wall, and it shows a story. And there are different images, and your first glance, your eyes pick up all these different images. And in the corner, there seems to be in the background of all of this, there's like what looks to be like a spider web behind the whole mosaic. And in the back, you see a picture of a young man, his face hidden, with a puppet on his knee, and he's carving it. And then next to it, you see in another section, your eyes are just picking up all different images. You see a young woman working a field, very strong young woman plowing the ground. And then next to that, you see as your eyes kind of go through, you see a picture of an older halfling, and kind of talking or whispering to what looks like zombies, but they seem to all be in fun, like they seem to be laughing in this picture. Like she's laughing, and then you see a sword and this massive creature in the background just kind of standing over the sword. And finally, towards the very bottom, you now see a picture of a honeybee being swatted by a large cat. And just the whole mural, and now taking it in, it kind of is like a artist's interpretation of your stories so far.
Where did you get this? How what even is this?
Yeah.
Well, I guess allow me, please. You allow me to explain, and it's very difficult. The school is built around divination. We have prophecies come out of the school many times, and one of our greatest oracle, he foresaw this coming battle, and in the battle there were these great heroes, and the heroes did do battle with the villain, but the story changed every time. He would have this prophecy. Sometimes the heroes would win, sometimes the villain would win, sometimes one of the champions of good would turn and join the villain. And he put up this mural, and she walks kind of like next to the one you're looking at, and then she pulls it again, the tapestry falls, and now you have this other mural, and it depicts a apocalyptic scene of cities being razed by just these giant figures, and on their chest ring, you instantly notice, is the symbol for the enslavement, and above them is this dark figure, a hawk-like face, and in his forehead he has jewels, and his hands are outspread, and you could just see what looks like gold coins kind of flowing down from beneath his fingers. And she says, but the worst part is, this was the last prophecy he saw. This tyrant destroying our society, our world, kind of coming with these abominations. And she points to these these giants with the symbol, the druidic symbol of slavery in their chest.
It's funny you say tyrant. Well, earlier we came across some of your students and they did a reading for us. So the ending of it was a little odd. This is a lot to take in, but I suppose we got our own prophecy today. And I did I keep those cards? I think I kept them. Since they weren't
you probably
normal.
pocketed a few of them, but Scarlet gave back like the rest of the cards.
We got the Forge card. I guess I shouldn't say that. Like, we got all of them. Like, they turned the deck over and they were all Forge cards.
Interesting. Well, that obviously means something is directing you, your group, maybe a force or an entity is directing you all. The Forge card isn't in itself inherently bad. It's actually a pretty good card. Strength through diversity and strength in all things. And well, you all look like a very diverse group, you do say. And she kind of looks at everyone. She says, and this is why I thought there would be more. And she kind of points to the mural and the first one, and you see all the different symbols, and now understanding that this was a prophecy, the bee being swatted by the cat kind of picks up as like you could, like that's Scarlet and Cecilia kind of arguing with each other. The young girl on the farm, changing, working hard, dealing with nature. You see the young boy, the young human carving a puppet, and behind them is that massive web. All of this linking to everyone that you've dealt with so far in your adventures.
So none of this was an accident. We weren't pulled into this just random chance.
I would say not. But it does look like there are many endings. Things seem to be changing constantly.
Rain will trace her fingers over that web work on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of us decides not to do something, that would lead to one of these, and she'll move over to the destruction where every city is razed. That'll lead to certain results.
The way prophecy is strange. The best way I could describe prophecy and reading the future is, imagine looking or going to a museum and seeing different pictures. When you look at, and it's the same picture of the same bowl of fruit, right? Mm-hmm. But it was drawn by many different artists. While it is still the same bowl of fruit, each artist has a certain flair and will change something slightly. Nothing is guaranteed, but there is something very you're all the artist, and you can change something just slightly in most prophecies.
Right. I suppose We don't have a choice. And she'll look back at the rest of her party. Seems like this was always going to happen.
This is terrifying.
Well, like I said, I know this is a lot to take in. I did think there would be more of you here. So you've already changed the story to begin with.
I don't think that was entirely our choice, but we had also thought we'd have more.
Malvolo pulls out what looks to be one of his chisels, and as he does, he does a couple of things. The first thing he does is I want to carve onto a piece of wood the mural, right? Like I just want to...
Yeah, like copy it down. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to etch it in something a bit more permanent than paper. The second thing I want to do is once I'm done with that, I want to actually make it so that it's actually got a 3 seam, so it actually folds in like a layered book.
Oh,
and
cool, like a little book, yeah.
Yeah, and then I can unfold it and I put that away. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chisel and I'm going to knock out the tiles that represent each of us. If the principal doesn't stop me, haha.
Oh no! Like, I want to hear.
If she doesn't, okay. If she doesn't stop me, I'm gonna keep the pieces,
Okay.
and I'm gonna basically turn them into kind of a kind of almost like a bracelet or a necklace. And I want to give it to Rain, and say that now we are all together.
As you start to like chisel away at the mural, the principal like kind of comes forward and is like, wait, what are you doing?
Collodi will step in front of her and go, whoa, lady. There's some really nice stuff you got in here. That really expensive? And Collodi walks over to like a vase or a bottle of really expensive wine.
She's like, whoa, what? Yes, don't touch, please. Don't touch everything.
And then he's basically just buying time for Malvolo to take the pieces.
So as like Collodi's like, I feel like Collodi's like wobbling the bottle on the table as Marvolo is just like picking out the caricatures. And so she looks, she's like, oh goodness. I want everyone to just please relax. I apologize. I know this is a lot to take in. Please leave that bottle alone.
As soon as Malvolo is done, Collodi will leave her alone.
So I feel like Malvolo's very quick.
Yeah. He's very precise. Like this is crafting. This is the stuff he does. As Malvolo's done, he sort of pockets the tiles for the time being, and he says, "Well, thank you, Principal, for taking the time to see us. We know that you have a busy schedule, and I appreciate you. You did not need to bring this to our attention, and least of all, you did not need to, of course, make us aware of the prospective consequences of our journey ahead. But you still did. And for that, I thank you. But we will continue to be writing our own story. And until that time, I'd rather have fate not set in stone. Good day." And Malvolo will bow to take his leave. And as he walks out, Collodi will look to the principal and go, "Hey, think fast!" And just knock the thing that he was pushing off the table.
Yeah.
Does she grab it?
As you knock it off the table, it starts to fall, and she utters a incantation, and she casts Featherfall on it.
Yeah,
and she just, it doesn't smash in the ground.
Yeah, and Collodi watches Collodi, then says, "Hey, look at that. Maybe seeing into the future is kind of helpful." He'll very, very cheekily kind of backwards walk out.
as Collodi kind of like walks out doing that, like I feel like Collodi would do the double guns at the person, just like and just like kind of walk out. The professor, she looks over at Scarlet and Rain, and she says, well, I guess you're leaving. I wish we had more time. I would have liked to heard your story.
Right. Well, maybe if we get through this, we can come back to your lovely school. Perhaps you could actually help us on our next step.
Mhm.
We're looking for a number of giants.
Mm. Yes. The nice thing about being a divination school is scrying is a early level ability.
Oh, well, that's handy. We came here then.
And she kind of opens up a drawer. She walks back to her desk and she opens up a drawer and she pulls out a beautiful choker. It has a amethyst on it, and she hands it to you and she says, whoever wears this, it will shine a light at the thing they need the most.
Oh,
Okay. But what if the thing they want the most is the amethyst? I look with like sparkles in my eyes.
She says, well, it would probably glow.
okay.
Rain, are you gonna take that?
Rain's very hesitant.
Mhm.
Obviously taking a step more into this future that she doesn't know anything about. Right. Okay. Okay. And she'll reach out for it.
Taking the amulet, it kind of like vibrates in your hand slightly, and you can feel the power of it. And then she sits down at her desk and takes a long puff from her cigarette, and she says, well, I wish you all the best. And well, I kind of know what happens if you don't. And she kind of looks over at the picture of this evil destruction.
Thanks. Thank you. No pressure. And Rain will kind of turn and head out through the door.
I'm just gonna say I'm about to leave and then go back a little bit and say, what happens to those who ignore their prophecies?
Well, usually nothing good.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I will follow Rain.
Heading back out into the elevator, the shaft, right? The elevator shaft. You step on, and there's a little grumpy halfling. He clicks his heels, and again, the elevator starts to go down. You get that like in that pit in your stomach as you start to descend. His little robes kind of go up, and as you hit the bottom, and you come down, we shift very quickly to back into the room. A smile crosses her face, and she stands up and she walks over to one of the murals that was up there, and she casts a spell, and the illusion drops behind the mural. And behind it, there is a picture of the monolith that Cecilia touched, and there are other images of Cecilia doing different things in the past. And moving forward, there's an image on there again of Cassandra turning old and sacrificing her energy to help you. And this is all these images kind of move around that single black monolith that you all saw. And at the very bottom of the monolith, there are just 3 figures standing there: an Alcise, a puppet master, and a cleric. And that's where we're going to stop and take our break. We're going to take our 15-minute potty break so everyone can grab a cup of coffee. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We got another little bit to go. Get the group back on the trail to hit the old wagon trail. I hope everyone's having fun. And remember, as we all learned from Terminator 2, the future is what you make of it.
Wow.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you very much for the subs. We appreciate you for all the shenanigans. I wanted to say, I saw in chat someone said they're loving how intense the role play is, and I'm glad you're having fun. I'm killing my players. I'm just giving it to them in the worst way. I'm just like, oh, here's some more emotional stuff to deal with. So I'm glad you're all here. And for those of you tuning in, our players have just kind of got to a town. This town is actually part of in the lore in the world of Pathfinder. The town, they didn't really kind of get the name of the town. They were just told there was a school there. The town is Gladuria, and it's located on the path that they have to take up to where they're going, these steps. And the town is kind of known for the College of Twilight Academy. And basically the Twilight Academy, it's a college where a lot of divination magic kind of comes from. So they've all had this sorry, Michael, I'll turn off that so I can let people move. They kind of went there, they met a few people, and they met the principal of the Twilight Academy. In the Twilight Academy, they saw murals, these beautiful murals of their travels and the people they worked with. And the principal was like, yeah, this is like, we've had prophecy. This is the prophecies. I expected more of you guys to be here, but these are your prophecies, man. And it kind of ended with this very dark prophecy of the mural showing the Runelord of Greed conquering, using the giants as enslaved creatures, conquering all of Varesia and this area, kind of claiming their kingdom back. And the party was like, dang, that sucks. And then they left, right? As per normal, they left. Marvolo might have committed some kind of artwork vandalism. We're not 100% sure. It's probably the least of the number of crimes Marvolo has committed through being an adventurer. But as they left,
I burned down the one asylum. That was it.
That's true. That is true. So the party left, getting this prophecy saying that they were all kind of on this adventure together because it was destined. There was some kind of destiny involved. Scarlet asks, like, yo, what if we don't follow our prophecy? What if we decide to become like farmers? And the principal was like, you could try, but prophecy doesn't like it when you guys don't follow the rules. Which isn't me saying the DM's going to be a jerk and like railroad you guys. That is just how I've always seen prophecy in my own head. Like prophecy just comes and always comes, and there's really no avoiding it.
Like a Final Destination situation.
Yeah, very similar to that.
It's coming for you.
It just comes. Like you could keep trying to get away from it, but it'll get you. So that's kind of where the party ended. They went down the elevator shaft. Well, they didn't fall down the elevator shaft. They took the elevator down to the first floor with the grumpy halfling. And there was a scene that they didn't see, that up at the top was another mural that was not shown to them. And on that mural had the black obelisk with the writing on it. And it had the pictures of everyone kind of failing and falling to the timey-wimey stuff that's been happening. And at the very bottom of the monolith were three figures. It was the puppeteer, the farmer, and the cleric. And that's Rain, Marvolo, and Scarlet at the very bottom of this monolith, saying like, oh, everything's kind of like drawn to them. And we pick back up with you guys kind of exiting. As you're kind of leaving, heading out, following this little grumpy halfling, you kind of get out, and sitting at the base of the stairs, right, like that you guys followed up, sitting down at the bottom of the stairs is a cart with 2 horses and provisions. And clearly the school knew you were coming, so they have provided you a cart, provisions, and horses. The halfling looks and says, well, I assume this will be to your liking, and please, thank you for visiting, and may you have a safe and warm travel.
See, you can be nice when you try.
He says,
Scarlet.
What? It's a joke.
Thank you.
He nods and he looks at you, Scarlet, stares you in the eye, Scarlet, and he just says, and just nods looking at you. Says, well, you have some time before the sun sets, so you should probably get on your way. Thank you very much. And you could get the notion, the feeling that he is literally about to be like, don't let the doorknob hit you on the butt as you get out the door. Like he is just doing the most right now.
Right. Well, I guess we've overstayed our welcome a little bit. Let's get going and maybe we can set up a camp before it gets too dark out. All right, everyone?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you, sir. And Rain will curtsy again on her way out. Seems like the right thing to do.
It's just in my head, like Rain is like this 7'2", like moose, powerful moose woman, and just seeing you do like trying to be like smaller is very strange.
They're all fancy. They're all wearing fancy colored outfits, and they're at a prestigious school. And Rain grew up in a farmhouse with none of that. It's very weird. Big curtsy.
Rain's like, I guess this is right. He bows to you, like respecting the respect you're giving. And he says, well, please be safe. I hope I've packed everything to your liking. The principal wants me to send you all with our highest regards, and hopefully on your way back you can stop here and well, if you ever need a bed, the principal has offered to give you a reprieve here if you ever need.
Oh, we couldn't dare impose tonight, but perhaps when things are better, or if there's an update, she can certainly reach out to us.
Yes.
Why don't we want to impose tonight?
Because we've stayed here for a while, and apparently we should probably get going, especially if we want to fulfill our destiny.
And of course, rescue the people who got kidnapped by giants.
Yes, our destiny. Yes, rescuing.
So as you kind of head out, who takes on the amulet?
It's Rain.
Unfortunately, yeah, she'll hold it up kind of very awkwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's this very kind of like an animal, like a pet that you don't want to hold, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of an animal that I wouldn't want to hold, but like how some people act like that.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Like if you're holding up.
Those are super weird. I love them.
I tried.
You can't give me like snakes. Awesome. Mice, definitely. Like I want to hold those. I don't know what to do with. I don't know.
Yeah. This
child.
Awkward. Yeah. Angry screaming baby. It's very in my head. If anyone saw it, the movie with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt where they're assassins, she's given the baby. She's just kind of like holding it out in front of her, like I don't know what to do with this. And that in my head is Rain. Rain is just holding this amulet, and you start to think on like finding the people. The amulet starts to glow, and it shoots out this like very thin purple light. It doesn't go too far ahead of the horses. And as you kind of like turn it, the light will always kind of direct you on your path, the way you're going.
Oh, well, this is at least convenient. All right. Well, I suppose we get going as far as we can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know it's probably not the question to ask, but while we're traveling, Are we certain that we can trust her?
I mean, it's hard to change a prophecy, right? I mean, we saw the forge cards at least right before our eyes.
We did, but I don't know. There are certain things that didn't seem to match up. Like, if she was expecting us to be, well, alone, then why was she so ready to know how many of us we were? She was expecting more. Yet, she was not surprised to see less. Like, she didn't seem empathetic. Like, oh no, you had suffered a loss or any of this. There was no genuine feeling through anything she said.
Oh, maybe she just didn't have the updated prophecy. I mean, it only happened just recently. I mean, has it been the same day?
Yeah.
It hasn't even been 24 hours, so she may not have known what happened. And I mean, it's not like we've lost everyone like that.
No, we haven't.
No, but you've got a point. It is weird that she didn't pay any condolences or try to understand why. She was just like, it's a fact, they're less. And she didn't ask us anything.
Well, I mean, not everyone does that sort of thing. I mean, I know I would as soon as I found out, but not everyone is always so empathetic, right?
But above being sympathetic, just try to understand why, what changed in between the last prophecy and our current situation. She didn't seem curious at all as to why one of us was missing.
Maybe it didn't matter. I don't know. I can't. I'm just working with what information I have. So what? If we don't trust her, then what? Do we just not listen to the crystal?
No. I think that we just need to be careful. If she offers us a place to stay or, any further trinkets, he says, looking at the glowing light, I think we just need to be sure that we're taking it with a grain of salt.
Well, you think she can spy on us through this? And she'll hold the amulet up even higher?
Couldn't we take the crystal to someone that could analyze it and tell us if something's wrong with it?
I mean, I suppose so. It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, we'd have to find another village, and I don't know how much more time we have until then, so we could trust it for now and then eventually check it.
What do you think, Marvolo?
I think that'll probably be the best choice, at least for now. But that will not help. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say that's not. It's not going to help us for the moment. But I just want to make sure that we're not. I don't know. Just setting setting unrealistic expectations of these diviners from the school.
I mean, I can't tell much from this. She'll hold it up. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If I do read aura, I know that this is likely obviously within divination. It's pretty limited. I know this is already magical, but can I tell if there's, besides divination, in prophecy oriented, is there any other magic or aura of magic alongside it that it would be dual purpose?
Yeah. I mean,
probably couldn't tell specifically what it is, but if there was another type.
One moment. Let me see. That's a good question.
I mean, I would only know, it says I would learn the school of magic. I already know it's magical. So
you already know it's divination. Yeah. So you're trying to see if there's something else happening. Currently, no.
Okay.
I mean, besides the location thing, but besides that, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. As far as I can tell, this works as it's intended, but I don't know. I didn't go to school.
Maybe it works and they're following us. maybe that creepy little halfling is lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike at the right time.
You think
Hold on.
the servant is following us?
I have to write that down.
Yes.
Collodi looks out the back of the wagon and then like pulls down his pants.
What?
Just waves
He's
his butt.
mooning him.
You get an eyeful.
I tried to take a peek of the bottom.
It's
Just curious.
it's mahogany.
Nice.
Like, did you give him butt cheeks?
I did. I think I gave him like, you know, the Ken doll butt cheeks. Like they're not rounded. They're kind of like a single piece with like kind of a curvature to it.
Got it.
That's a bit upsetting.
You had an opportunity. Maybe in the next upgrade.
Yeah, next upgrade. I'll get implants for Collodi.
So I guess you guys are heading on with the cart, right? Heading up the road following this trail, right? Following the light.
Mm-hmm.
You get up and you start to follow, and now it becomes much more lush. The area kind of gets to this very beautiful, lush, like foresty area. Sorry, move this up a little bit more. I'm killing Michael. That's what I'm doing on live on air, as I keep moving the token and he's moving the camera. So you get to this very beautiful, lush, foresty area, and now you've kind of gone a bit off-road. There are still roads, but a lot less traveled at this point. You really haven't noticed any kind of signs of giant or travel. But at this point, you start to notice along the road, there is a few carts up ahead, but they seem to be overturned and knocked down.
I presume that I'll be driving, unless anyone's got any desire to drive.
Go for it.
Malvola will pull alongside the upturned wagons. I won't disembark just yet, but I'll pull the wagon to a stop.
Pulling to a stop, you notice that this area seems to have had some kind of commotion or attack. The carts are knocked over. The covered part of the wagons have been ripped back. All over the ground, there's just barrels of things overturned and destroyed.
I think we're getting close.
Or should we stop and at least help these people?
You don't see any people.
Oh.
Yeah. If their behavior is anything to follow, then if these people were attacked, anyone who didn't escape has likely been taken, much like the people.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, if we could pick up the pace, that probably would be ideal. I guess we're not going to sleep tonight.
Understood. And I'll, keep us moving.
Pushing the horses even harder. We're going to have to make a few skill checks, right? Because these horses aren't like you're trying to really hustle at this point. So you're going to like work through the evening. So is there any spell that anyone has that can kind of like imbue these horses with endurance?
Oh, I don't think so.
I have some sugar.
All right. Diabetes will help.
I can cast haste.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Is that double haste? Scarlet, can you cast it? I don't know if Scarlet can cast it.
I have commands, so I can order them to haste.
There you go.
You,
okay.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
There
you go. I like this combination. So, Rain, you will kind of cast haste upon the horses to increase their movement speed. Obviously, haste is a lot of spells are more combative in nature, right? I'm gonna put quotations around combative, but I feel like what it allows, if we were to use the rules for haste, it allows a player to normally have 2 movement or 2 attack actions, so that the horses are going to just take 4 movement speed, right? All full out run. How long does haste last? If you haven't that,
I will find out. Haste will last and can use the extra action each round. Duration 1 minute. Ooh.
Well, it's fine. So you can like rapid cast spells, right? Like the concept is, you would kind of cast a spell and then concentrate and focus on the spell, more of like a ritual than a spell. So what would your ritual look like, Rain? Like, describe to me the haste ritual.
In this particular instance.
In this situation, yes.
In this situation. All right, if you go faster, you'll get a treat, and she'll kind of summon. It'll look a little illusionary at this point, but it is a stick attached to their back with hanging carrot in front of their face. Just to get really excited.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's hysterical. They just got like the horses are like hard galloping, like hard moving. Marvolo, you're kind of like now like both hands wrapped around the reins, kind of like taking like a more open stance to steady yourselves, because they are pulling as hard as possible. Scarlet, what would you be doing? So you have commands, you're kind of like commanding the horses. Is there any other spell you have that can like force them to move harder and faster?
No, the only one I have that could work that worked on creatures is calm emotions, and this is the opposite of what we're trying to do.
Okay.
We're trying to get them super pumped, so I don't think it would work.
Maybe that'll like steady their pace, so that way they can keep going.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of getting like all emotional and tense and out of fear, which can burn you faster, having a good calm of mind and keeping that steady pace could help.
Okay, then I can use calculations.
Can I also have Malvolo like basically go through our inventory and stuff and just find ways to like remove some of the weight? Like, if we're wasting space on barrels, like reducing the actual size of the barrels and like cutting the lumber to like a smaller size and discarding all the bits of metal and wood that I don't need. Same thing with like, like, hey, we don't really need this much scrap metal or this much wood. And the cart's actually kind of big. Let's, shrink it down a little bit. And these wheels are a little bit too heavy. Let's like shave off some, can I do that super quick?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually super effective. If as you can see, I've been playing Pokemon. But yeah, you kind of focus on removing the stuff and lightening your load as you go, kind of leaving a small trail behind you, I guess, of like items you no longer wish to use. A lot of the stuff you're removing are just silly, like things you wouldn't really want anymore. And you find yourself moving at a aggressive pace. Not 100% sure, but I know a day's worth of travel at a hard pace for a horse and carriage is about 35 miles.
Oh.
So like from your point, you're moving at about 35. You're going to finish your day out at about 35 miles. Getting you pushed out further than everything. As you're going, these horses are just hauling as you go. Marvolo is tossing things left and right. Scarlet, you're kind of laying it thick on these horses. You're kind of like putting down this natural energy to keep them in a state of like almost like a solid like meditative state of just keep moving fast. It doesn't hurt. You can go. After a day's worth of travel, everyone is exhausted. You've been burning your magical energies, your like the connection you have to the world and the other worlds around you, except for Marvolo and Clody, who have just been kind of unloading the cart and kind of
I've
pushing
thrown Clody
themselves
over a couple of times now.
Yeah. Pushing yourselves forward, you come, and as you kind of pass by a small rural town, you get one of those like posts, and it says Ravenmore, head this way, and it's kind of the road, and to the left, you have something called Roderick's Cove is another sign, and then beyond that, it says Riddle Point, which you know is a major metropolis. And you kind of get to this point on the road where you have the multiple signs dictating where to go and which way to go. And you get there, and you now notice that like on the road and on the field ahead of you, it looks like you started. Obviously, the horses at this point can't keep pace. And you're at this kind of crossroad, and you look out and you see over into the distance. You can now see what looks like a number of carts, cart tracks along the road, just tons of them, all heading in a similar direction. These cart tracks, there's tons of them. Rain, can you give me a survival check, Marvolo and Scarlet perception checks?
I'm gonna use my reroll. A 3
Sure.
is not great. Let's try that again, but better. Okay, it's a little better.
There you go. So high enough. So Rain, you're looking at the tracks, trying to get an estimate of how many carts have been like pulled through this area, and your general estimate is anywhere between 15 and 25 carts have been pulled through this area. Marvolo and Scarlet, as you kind of like look down from the cart, because you guys are now going slow, the horses are breathing very heavily, and you're kind of like not trying to push them and take some time off of them. You start to see along the road there are objects, and Scarlet, you kind of like hop down and you walk near one of these objects, and you pick it up, and it is a small child's doll.
Oh, that can be good.
You flip it over and you notice there is a little stain on it, a few red markings.
Okay, so I show it to my teammates and say,
Mhm.
guys, something very bad happened here.
What is it?
It's a doll, obviously for a child, with blood on it and no child in view. So
Oh, great. Feels like we're just always behind on all of this, aren't we?
I look at the doll and say, we're gonna find your owner, I promise. And I put it in one of my bags.
Right. No, you're right. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna find her. We're gonna find, yeah. And hopefully they're okay. Avolo, how much further do you think we need to go?
Malvolo looks to the sun, kind of measures with his fingers, scratches his chin, and he says, 72 miles?
Yeah, give or take.
It's on the map.
Give or take. It's on the map.
Right there.
It's legit on the map.
But I am
What
also...
could it be?
Yes.
It's our educated man here.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to Marvel and say, don't touch your face so much. It's not good for you.
Well,
You're gonna get pimples, and if you touched any bad stuff, it's gonna go into your mouth. You don't want that.
Malvolo has a small like mini panic attack, and he's like, Thank you, Scarlet. I was just thinking perhaps it was time for a shave. There's a river nearby here, and we can't keep pressing the horses the way we have been. Perhaps we can take a respite for them, water them, and get them ready to leave as soon as possible. Even a short night is still better than trying to push them through the dark.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good idea.
I'll pull us over by the river, and we'll start setting up camp. Again, Malvola will take some time and sort of again inspect his face because, yeah, Scarlet's kind of right. You know, he looks at the water and how filthy it is. He looks at like his reflection and how scraggly he looks, and he's not accustomed to even seeing his own face in the mirror. When he does something he thinks he'd never do, he takes some of the water from the river and just sort of splashes it on his face.
If
Just to
only
kind
Marvolo had made a nature check, he would have known that the water was not filled with leeches.
Piranha.
Surprise me!
Leeches.
No, I'm joking.
Ah, yeah,
All
can't
over.
save. And Malvola
No, I'm
makes
joking.
Malvola makes another mask. This one out of titanium.
He's never taking
Never
a mask
revealing
off.
again.
Like Man in the Iron Mask.
Rain will notice you going through and cleaning your face off and everything. I don't mean to be rude about this, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, but I didn't expect you to leave your mask. Not that it's a bad thing. It's very good, but I mean, at all times, I guess I was
And
just
for one-
surprised.
Yeah, I for one are very glad that you took up that mask because you have a very lovely face, and I'm so glad that I can watch it whenever I feel like it.
Thank you, Scarlet, and I understand where you're coming from, Rain. It was not my first choice either, but I think so many things have happened since we started. You know, I've been wearing that mask since I was in my own kingdom. My parents, ashamed of everything I was building, thought it was some sort of perverse reflection of the creatures that I kept creating. And when I came here, I was worried that people might recognize that I wasn't one of them, I guess. And it just kind of became a habit, a means to protect myself. People can't tell how I'm feeling, then, well, most of the time they tend to leave me alone and let me to my own devices, which is more how I preferred it. But
Sure.
but in a very large way, I was always wearing that mask for the wrong reasons and the wrong people. In fact, it was you who insisted repeatedly, insistently, that I leave my house and I become part of this world. And I can't thank you enough for that. I think it's been quite some time since I truly felt like there was somewhere I belonged. And after what happened with Krut, his change, I feared it. I did not want change. I didn't want to become something different. I didn't want to. I was obsessed with keeping things perfect, keeping things clean, keeping things the way they were. But then I met Sandra and Scarlet and Cecilia. And the more I got to know all of you, the more I realized that things can't just stay the way they are, and we can't just shelter ourselves from the dangers that this world has. Rain, you you only got the power of a dragon for a mere moment, but to me, you have been mightier than a dragon since you emerged from your portal. I honestly didn't think there would be anyone who would be able to convince me that the town of Sandpoint was worth saving. And now look, I'm on a cross-country quest in the wilderness, rubbing dirty river water in my face to try and save people who not 6 months ago accused me of murder after having killed the only friend I'd ever made here. If it wasn't for you, I would never have changed. I would be as... And he gestures at Kalodi. He changes when I want him to. When I see fit, I change his clothes. When I see fit, I change his whole body. I'm fairly sure there are some pieces of Atlas still rattling around inside there as well. But those are only changes on the surface. The changes that come from within, they're harder. They're things that take a certain strength. And I think better than anyone, you know that change, transmutation even, is like magic. Powerful, frightening.
Ugly.
But also beautiful. At this point, Malvolo is going to reach out to Rain and say, We are not meant to do what others tell us. We are not pawns or puppets to be cast along the winds of fate. Not you, not I, not Scarlet. What we do here today, what we choose. Damn it, Kalodi! Sorry, my bad. I turned that off. It's just telling me that, my queen bee has finally managed to make a little nest. Now I've got like several drones and... Read the room. Okay. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'll leave you to it.
It's fine.
No, I want you to hear me when I say this, Rain. Not all change can be for the good. But change that helps us put one foot in front of the other, that's something that you can only do with the support of the people who are truly inspiring. And I want to thank you for inviting me to a stupid wedding. And Scarlet, I want you to thank you because I think there is also something special to be said about someone who can see beauty everywhere that they look. You're both very
I
dear
would
to me.
argue. Thank you. I would argue that I definitely don't see beauty everywhere. Just so you know.
Okay.
For example, I didn't see beauty in that halfling, but continue. Sorry. Proceed.
At least she's honest about it.
It's very true. Very curt indeed. The mask I left behind to honor Cecilia. And if and when I'm ready to return to our old life, once this is all said and done, just as I will go back and I will return to Krut, I will return to Cecilia as well. And that mask, me leaving it there, is my promise to do so. No one gets left behind. Remember?
Right. No one gets left behind.
And as Malvolo sort of moves his hand away from Rain's hand, in Rain's hand are the little fragments of all of the tiles that were made. It's kind of been sewn together into this like kind of wrist bracelet that's about Rain's size and has little trinkets of each of us.
When did you craft this?
Somewhere between Collodi revealing his buttocks to the imaginary spy.
This is a very lovely token. Thank you. It means a lot. And at least we're here for each other.
Always.
But I'm you can see Rain struggling with her words, kind of torn in how she wants to say this. Now I'm really happy for you. And she just kind of pulls back in and is resigned at leaving it there.
Malvolo can kind of see that kind of, that exhale, that kind of, that weight suddenly lifting, and he understands it. He kind of, in his mind, kind of puts a placeholder in his head. He says, thank you for listening. And
This is a good look for you, by the way.
Well, thank you. My family did always compliment us on strong cheekbones.
Those are very popular.
Yes.
I'm sure maybe you'll be even a little more persuasive.
Maybe
people can see the
free rank,
the truth in your eyes, and they'll be charmed by your high cheekbones.
Malvolo starts to laugh as well as he's remembering the last person he charmed was a freaking undead witch woman banshee thing. It's kind of almost it's almost silly in a way that he just keeps laughing.
As the sun begins to set from your full day's ride, Collodi has started like unpacking stuff from the wagon as you guys have unhitched the horses and they're drinking. Everyone's kind of taking this moment to kind of start talking by the river, and kind of setting up a little camp. We pan back up and out into a dark corner of the world. In a room back up and filled with darkness, a stone door opens, and in steps a massive titan of a giant. His eyes glow a deep blue with energy. Illuminating the room is an orb in its hand. In the back of the room are two young red dragons, chained and shackled. The giant holds up in its other hand a brand, and upon the brand is the rune, the druidic rune for enslavement. And that is where we will end today's game. I want to say thank you very much to everyone hanging out. I want to say thank you very much to chat. You guys are awesome. As always, it's a pleasure playing with everyone here. Thank you, Ari, Becca, and Michael for hanging out with me and kind of going through the game. You guys are amazing, having a lot of emotion. Today was a very large kind of like game, getting everything set up and ready. I want to say everyone did get a level. So after tonight's rest, you guys will have a full level because emotional combat is still a real thing. And I feel like you guys have had a good emotional combat. But But with that being said, I want to say thank you very much to our sponsors, as per normal. Hero Forge for the really amazing miniatures. By the way, you can see all of our team's miniatures in the corner. Those are so freaking cool. They've changed. Ari is holding up her beautiful Scarlet printed miniature, which I think is so dope. Sirenscape for the amazing soundtrack in the background that's happening, travel music and so forth. Of course, I want to say huge thank you to Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. And yeah, so I'm going to throw it over to my amazing players. And as we started the day, we will end the day with Becca, where you can find out what she's doing, her channel, and what's going on there. Becca?
Thank you. Sorry, I'm kind of reeling back from that. I think you're absolutely right. Emotional challenges that's also how we level up. I think that's really great. I'm Becca Godsey. You can find me on Twitter at Becca Godsey or here on Twitch at XCausticPhoenix. Or if you want some more D&D, but a little bit different of D&D meets PvP, think like WWE if you love some wrestling style. We are over at D20 Deathmatch and we'll be playing tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Who's on tonight?
We have Glorious George and Miss Magitech.
Ooh, I love Miss Maggie.
They're gonna be good. They're gonna be real hot. It's fun. It's fun. They actually have a bit of a story they want to play out. They ran it by us. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be really awesome. So I'm excited.
And hi, I'm Aristocrat. I have a webcomic that you can find on Instagram and Webtoon and Twitter. And so there is a new episode every Monday. It's about a grumpy witch and her cheerful, stretchy dragon. And tomorrow the episode is still in the Pezozu arc, which has to do with the demon that came to his true form just last week. And we're going to see what happens now.
Can't wait.
And hi guys, my name's Michael. I am the Dead Aussie Gamer. Here's my place, here's my face, and you can find it here a number of times during the week. I will be back in 7 hours-ish. Yeah, about 7 hours. We're going to be playing some Pathfinder 2nd Edition, playing Curse of the Crimson Throne in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, where I will be taking on the role of the GM. Then we'll be doing more stuff throughout the week. Now, I normally run Patreon games with a couple of celebrity games on my channel. My Patreon games are Monday morning, Wednesday evening, Friday morning, and Saturday morning, Australian times. And I also run a Hero Forge building workshop on Wednesdays. This week, we're going to be joined in the studio by Robert Hartley, GM, who is going to be helping us build another character for our Patreon series, Food Fight, which is a little private secret game that we're running between myself, Rob, Dredd, Quincy from Quincy's Tavern, and your narrator from Your Favorite Narrator. And then the other celebrity games you can catch us on are on, well, this one here, because look at these amazing celebrity people. They're amazing. And we also have a Friday game coming up for Sirens and Silver, which is a pirate-based game featuring Rob, Dredd, Janet from World Anvil, and none other than the wonderful Patrick from That Great Gentleman. So yeah, lots of stuff. But if you're already here, you know where to find me. So, do the things, follow the things, poke the things. Yay! All the stuff. And also, I gotta say, I agree with Becca. Holy crap, am I like... Whew, I feel like I've run a marathon. It's wonderful, but like, oh boy. I feel like that's the hottest level I've ever earned.
Yes.
I guess it's my turn. I've been talking a lot. Normally I get a little break at the end, but it's faster now. So I gotta keep up on my pace. I want to say thank you very much to everyone. And you can find me when I'm not here DMing these amazing folk through emotional and physical combat. You can find me over on my channel, NVNG. You could go to here on Twitch, NVNG. Just type it in, 4 little letters. They wouldn't let me have my whole name. They were like, no, you're not allowed. I don't know. Twitch changed. But also you could go to my website, NVNG Podcast, where we are playing Wrath of the Righteous, which we're converting into Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I have yet to play and this is not a knock. I haven't yet to play in an actual like Pathfinder 2 2nd Edition campaign. I've been converting like all the old 1st edition ones. So we're doing that, and my YouTube channel is up there, and it's all that funny stuff. But I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing my voice. So I'm going to throw it back over to Michael, because Michael raids everyone, supports the little guys out there. So where are we going today, Michael?
Well, we are going to a channel I've never been to before because all of my usuals are not online. Maybe because of the time change, maybe not. But we're going to go and check out a streamer called Momo, who looks like they're playing D&D on Roll20. So I don't know what to expect. Maybe we can expect some stuff. Who knows? We'll go find out. Go hang out. We'll find out if these are cool people. And guys, remember, as always, when you jump into the chat, don't forget to drop your raid emotes. Raid emotes for days here at the Dead Aussie Gamer channel. There you go. Raid hard or die trying. And there we go. Nope, I did that completely wrong because I am a derp. There we go. Boom. And yeah, drop all the emotes. Make it so that they know that we love them and that we're here and we're welcoming. And yeah, go check out everyone. Go check out the places. Until we meet again, as always, from us to you. Till we meet again. Game hard or die trying. Bye, everyone.